world, met with alien ambassadors, and I've engaged with extraterrestrial stuff. Anyone who knows my work in the last year alone knows that I've been interfacing with the biggest private collection of alien artifacts, and I've been handling them and involved in the forensics. I'm keyed into that subject. My foundation, Humanitat, over the last 25 years has, on occasion, been involved even at a governmental level in investigating alien artifacts and anomalies.
Prove to me that you are alive.
Two last questions. What do you say to all of those people that are coming up with all of these different prophecies now that we are headed towards doomsday and the whole world's about to collapse and yada, 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 freaking Lucifer's coming back, like Antichrist, all of this shit, like the whole world's about to be set on fire. What do you say to those kind of people, man?
So you need to understand the kind of mythos of the story of the great Ahriman to understand that the end of the Luciferic age is upon us, as opposed to the onset of the Luciferic age. So we're actually departing the fallen light of Atlantis. We're departing the Saturnian, satanic, Luciferic age. We're departing the galactic sleep altogether and moving now into the galactic day. More than just entering into a 13,000-year galactic day cycle, we're actually moving fully into the ascendancy, the fifth density ascendancy. And because we are departing the thrall of Saturnian, Luciferic, satanic, galactic sleep, because we're departing it, there is a final compression of all of that illusion of shade, of contrast. And that illusion of shade and contrast that is compressing into this departure point is creating the illusion of the onset of impending doom, apocalypse, Armageddon. That was always written into the counterpoint geometry of ascension. And to lower frequency, let me try and be kind for a change, for lower frequency souls, human beings who are still paddling around in the shallows of binary logic, they will naturally and needfully see an apocalypse where, in point of fact, it's an ascension. But in a sense, they are also serving. The contrast serves at that compression point because it creates the springboard for us to move into the ascendancy, into the next great iteration of our evolution, of our expression. So there's no judgment here. I'm not judging those people who are doomsday merchants. I've been accused of being a doomsday merchant myself when I couldn't be further from that. I've always been an unbearable optimist, and even at the eve of the COVID or COVIDiacy 4 or 5 years ago, when I started in this very room, I was locked down here, and this is where I was. I was in my home here in Bali during the lockdown and the beginning of it, and I started speaking then, and I got a very big voice in that year. Because I was broadcasting almost every single day and being interviewed every single day and meeting with hundreds of medical scientists and doctors and investigating what was going on and how what we were seeing with the onset of COVID, the COVIDiacy was the end of days, was the collapse of the old timelines into a zeroing out and a regenesis point. And to be sure, that's exactly what it is. I mean, the fact that there are still people who are seeing catastrophic failure, those people are the people who are, I think, stranded or entrained into that wokest liberal intellectual domain. So still in Chicago or in, with great respect, New York, a
Yeah.
classic liberal intellectual enclave, um, people who are, more centered in the matrix, so to speak, the false light matrix, are quite naturally going to see end of days and apocalyptic scenarios play out. The lights in the sky thing is like yawn. I was the one saying 5 years ago in 2020,
Hmm.
I was, and I'm on record in 1,000 interviews, or certainly many hundreds,
Mhm.
saying, eyes to the sky, friends, eyes to the sky,
Wow.
your eyes on the sky, because that's what this time is all about. What
Hmm.
will come through this passage of COVIDiocy will be the ET alien interventionism. It'll be part false light orchestration, and it'll be
Mhm.
part organic.
Yeah.
The organic is the real, and the false light is the sort of last waltz of the deep state trying to orchestrate an alien invasion. So Dr. Stephen Greer and others speak to this at great length. But I would say this: none of that is important.
Hmm.
Actually, I have little to no interest. And you're
Hmm.
talking to somebody who is variously engaged directly with angelic beings. I've been taken out of my body by angelic beings. Whilst in the flesh, I've been in the star body. I've been allowed to engage in that beautiful hyperdimensional
Yeah.
spheres. I'm blessed to have had those experiences. I'm blessed to have, on 2 occasions in this world, met with alien ambassadors. And
Wow.
I've engaged with extraterrestrial stuff. Anyone who knows my work in the last year alone knows that I've been interfacing with the biggest private collection of alien artifacts, and I've been handling them and involved in the forensics. I'm
Hmm.
key. I'm keyed into that subject. My foundation, Humanitat, over the last 25 years, has on occasion been involved even at a governmental level in investigating alien artifacts, and anomalies, and we've physical stuff, technologies. I've had a lot of experience in that world. I've known the Stephen Greers and the Stephen Bassetts in exopolitics, the Laura Eisenhowers, the Dr. Michael Salas. I'm blessed to know the leading pundits in the world on those subjects, and
Hmm.
it's something I've been interfacing with for a long, long time, many, many years. I'm familiar with it. I say here, as I've said on a few occasions, I've seen well over 200 different UFOs sightings myself, and I've always with witnesses. The only thing that's never happened to me is I've never witnessed UFOs or manifest orbs or hyperdimensional craft. I've never seen that on my own.
Hmm.
I've only ever been with others who witnessed it, and then I've said, "Oh my God, can you see?" And they've, "Oh my God, yes, we can see."
Hmm.
And yes, I've taken photographs in the past, and I've posted them. I've had just a very rich experience and expression and interfacing with that. I've also met at one time, again at a quasi governmental level, because it was a group of scientists connected, but it wasn't official government work. I've interviewed an alien hybrid that was sent from Germany to England to
Wow.
our foundation offices for 3 days. And I interfaced with that alien hybrid. And the story of that particular alien hybrid is staggering. And I
Hmm.
have told that story on a few occasions. But that was well over 10 years ago. That must have been 13, 14 years, 15 years ago.
Wow.
So it's not something that's new to me, the subject matter, when it was completely off script.
Prove to me that you are alive.
I was involved professionally, my work as Humanitat Foundation, in investigating these things. Almost 20 years ago, I was meeting with people like Timothy Good, the British military guy who wrote the biggest, compendium of UFO and alien sightings and engagements. And, so he was sitting in my living room 20 years ago, people like that. I am very au fait, very conversant with the subject matter, to the extent that I'm frankly bored with it, because it's not of consequence. What is of consequence is you and me here and now.
Uh-huh.
And what is this? I am the
Internal.
hybrid. You are the galactic hybrid. I am the codified genetic expression of the Draco reptilian, the Zeta reticulan, the Andromedan, Arcturian, Venusian, Syrian. All of those genome expressions from the galactic realms are codified within this angelic human. That's the immanent reality of what this technology is, the human technology.
Yeah.
And I want this technology to be actualized fully into its superluminal, hyperdimensional state of grace and being whilst I'm in physicality. So
Yes.
I seek absolute alpha omega enlightenment. I seek absolute immortality by choice, not because I'm afraid of death. We discussed that at the beginning of this conversation, but because it is our prerogative to actually to embody immanence and immortality in the
Hmm.
now if we so choose to. Humans should only invoke Merkaba and then move into a different state of reality by choice. It should
Yeah.
never happen to us because of the so-called laws of entropy,
Hmm.
of disease and death. Disease and death are illicit in the truest sense of being. And I am seeking that state of grace whilst in physical human form. And I know that I speak on behalf of most good humans, and
Absolutely.
certainly I speak on behalf of all enlightened humans, that our state of grace is what we're seeking, and that brings with it immanence and immortality. This idea of the beautiful cycle of life is such a bullshit myth, and I like the fact that some people still think in those terms, and I think that it's kind of laudable in a way, but actually, no, there is nothing beautiful ultimately in the truest sense. I just watched the most beautiful woman you could imagine, a dancer, a poet, a singer, a model, a beautiful, beautiful young woman of 32 years of age. I just watched her die in my arms in recent weeks, in the last few weeks, and I watched how her beautiful body became eaten alive and crippled and twisted and distorted and agonized. And although that journey was its own perfect journey and was a soul compact, a soul covenant between her and herself, between her and me, between her and others who her life was also exemplifying and teaching along that way. And boy, did a few people learn some few hard knocks with this beautiful girl's life. But I'll tell you, in the truest sense of the word, there was nothing beautiful about it. It was so agonizing
Yeah.
and so painful, so awful, that I see that as contrast. I see that as the contrast against which I continue to defy entropy, disease, and death in this world.
Thank you so much. You say you talk about beauty. Wanted to finally say before we wrap this up that you are beautiful. You're a beautiful soul, and again, I'm gonna be forever, praying and sending you the best of energies. If you could take us out of here, we have this tradition on the Proof to Me That You're Alive, a light cast, I call it. Um, what is you talk? I mean, you talk about this for almost 2 hours, but what is the meaning of life? And with that answered, like, take us out of here.
So that's very cute. In in the first instance, thank you for the kindness and this the sweetness. It's so greatly welcomed. Kindness and sweetness are the most virtuous um, aspects of the human being, and you personify and exemplify them, and that's a very powerful, very potent thing. Thank you. I don't pretend at understanding the meaning of life, and I don't know that I have ever bothered to even frame the question for myself. So I'm not likely to be able to parachute in and answer it to your satisfaction. I don't know that asking the question is the thing. To split the infinitive and to become a little anal on the subject, I would suggest that it is beyond the asking of the question where we need to position ourselves. Meaning to say, possibly the answer lies in moving into the still point beyond the need to ask the question, but become the living question. You know,
Hmm.
there is meaning to say, a question mark that is suspended in grace and doesn't need to know the answer, but simply needs to be an embodiment, an enactment, a manifestation of the evergreen question. Being the pioneer that leans into the myriad of expressions of creation, being that witness as the I am is and can only ever be the witness that leans in to the question, but
Hmm.
doesn't need to know the answer because the answer becomes finite in an infinite universe of possibilities. So, why then would we seek a finite answer that only circumscribes our ignorance to ourselves? And ignorance can only ever issue through a source coding of fear and time. So, I think that leaning in to the perennial or the evergreen question and simply leaning into the question without wanting or desiring or needing the answer is the answer to that delightful question.
That's solid, man. I actually made a video saying that we need to just be, and um, you just said that so well. Sasha Stone, again, thank you so much. I bow down my head to you. I'm pretty sure my Nazarene family will love this. Thank you for answering the call, for being humble, for extending your hand, like I said before, and I will always appreciate it forever. Please, please, please come back. There's still so much to talk about. I would tell you, God bless you, but you are already blessed, and I urge everyone else to, again, don't miss the shooting star. I'll make sure to plug in all the links. Please send me all the links, and you have family over here now and friends over here now. Please remember that. So, Sasha Stone, thank you so much.
Thank you, brother. God bless you. Reach out anytime. Happy to speak to you. Much love.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Prove to me that you are alive.